Welcome back. I'm Zerfall,
I'm Grimgor.
and we are having more than two problems. The point of the matter is we lost a bunch of footage, so we know what's coming up. And also we found some new items. And we read some books.
We did. We
Yeah.
learned, we laughed, we loved.
And then we promptly lost all the footage.
Yes. Yes, it was an awesome time.
Turns out you can go over here into his bedroom. He has some hair gel and a flashlight with a suspicious hole in the front. And we read some books out here, too. Oh, and we got the gift certificate from inside the cash register. The important book, we learned about snakes, which it really just teaches you about the vibration of the fan will freak a snake out.
Which we already knew.
Which we already figured that out by trial and error. But we also found this German poetry book that was strangely compelling. So, from the German-English dictionary that's on this shelf over here, we learned that Drei Drachen, Drachen, means three dragons, which turned out to be actually important later on. When
Yes. And the book was written by a Ritter.
yes,
Now,
and-
Ritter seems to be popping up a lot from what we've already learned through our lost time in this game.
Yeah, and speaking of lost time, our secretary here is the worst secretary in the world. When she gives you a phone message, you're like, do we have any new messages? She says, oh yes, you have a new message from your grandmother. And then neglects to tell you that there's actually 4 other messages.
4 other messages.
She's just like, well, you probably didn't care about those ones. And then you say, do we have any more messages? And she tells you 1. And you have to keep prying the messages out of her. Worst assistant ever. Anyways, I think we're ready to door the door.
So what we will do is head over to Grandma's house.
Yes. We could have done it earlier, but we didn't realize right away that we needed to click these buttons off to the side.
Yes, you can actually move further out than just that quarter.
See, we're having a frame rate issue here. I think that means that we're actually recording. So, Grandmother Knight's house. Oh, Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
So it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give us a kiss.
And they hug.
You gotta hug it out sometimes when
Well-
you need a kiss. Come! Now come and sit down. Let's have a little chat. So let's have a little chat. Oh, just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic. So that's what we pretty much came here to do. Don't be silly. You can call me anytime. We could ask her questions now, but we might as well just head up to the attic first and then ask all the questions at once.
That will help.
I'm going up to the attic, Ran.
Be careful of the dust.
So there were really only 2 things we needed up here, right?
Yes, we have a couple of things. The first one is the sketchbook. That is on the chair there.
It's Daddy's sketchbook.
That's just a weird thing to call your dad when you're an adult.
Well, and maybe he has issues. And the other thing was we have to gear this. It looks like a target practice. It's a clock. So now we'll do the look. We managed to figure this out, but it's funny the way that there's 6 symbols on the face of the clock: a sword, angel, noose, sun, eclipse, and a dragon. Now, apparently, the 2 and 2 you're supposed to put together is that the fact that a dragon exists means that... Oh, I need to push button.
Basically, what it seems they've done is that before you show up here, you're supposed to read the poetry book. And
Yes.
learn that Die Drachen means 3 dragons,
So...
which is an amazing leap of logic.
Oh, snap. That was an accident, but we just figured something else out.
Oh my.
Alright, anyways, we gotta get back to this clock first, though. No. We need to take the skylight. Wow, we're getting really serious lag now this time. But only at times. That's weird. Alright. So... fading can happen. So what we need to do is... get our dragon to the top. Whoa. What is going on? Okay. And then this. Whoa! Needs to go around to 3 o'clock. And then you can turn the key.
Granddaddy, you old fox.
So then we can take a picture. Don't forget the letter right underneath. Lots of point sounds happening. And then now apparently we messed this up last time. Well, I don't know how much to mess up, but
we didn't come across it, but
it looks pretty heavy. We need to door the...
Well, I will be.
I don't think there's anything in that trunk that would interest anyone but my gran.
Let's go get her and put her in the trunk.
That's really...
The trunk contains
old clothes, pair of leather shorts. Aren't those called lederhosen? Serious hiking boots, more of Harrison Knight's German books. We specialize in books. Just what I need. And a bundle of love letters written between Harrison and Rebecca. Is Rebecca your grandmother? I hope so.
Well, if not, Granddaddy has some explaining to do.
They might have been from earlier on in life. Alright, so let's, I guess, head back down the stairs. That might have just been bonus points.
It might have been.
You know, they add a little bit of flavor to the game. Sometimes things you don't really need to do. But now we can question our grandmother about everything. Oh no, first we need to look at our items we got. I wonder if you can use these on this. No. Anyways, we have to book. Book means read. Obviously. So, found this thing. It's about the Schloss Ritter and Ritterberg. There's lots of Ritters everywhere. It's addressed to mein Sohn Heinz.
I'm going to guess mein Sohn Heinz means my son Heinz.
They loved ketchup over there. So we learned that new word, and it's obviously a very urgent full letter.
So, Heinz Ritter, Schattenjäger, and a lot more Ritter. So...
And also our dad had messed up nightmares.
Yes.
Images haunt the pages of Philip Knight's sketchbook, the way they must have haunted his mind!
Bum bum bum.
Yeah, so now we can finally... Let's talk to Grams. Interrupt her knitting. Well, that's it. Take a load off, hon.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help you?
So what we'll want to do is ask her about basically the entire family.
Yes. But first, Schattenjäger. Jäger means hunter, we know that. And Schatten, we're not sure,
Means
but...
shot of. So shot of Jäger.
Schattenjäger, Schattenjäger. How odd, Gabriel. Haven't heard that in years. My goodness, you've given me a chill. Your granddad used to say that sometimes in his sleep.
Really? Do you know what it means?
Oh, I'm afraid not. I asked him about it once. But I don't think he answered me. Odd.
That I wasn't paying attention.
So, we'll have to find that out somewhere else.
Now let's find out if she's that woman that those letters for.
Me? Surely you have something more interesting to talk about. She has really yellow teeth, by the way, if you watch what she does.
Oh, come on, Gran. Well, she's a heavy smoker.
Ah. All right, dear. What do you want to hear? Let's see.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then. A big fella named Reverend Jim. I can even remember his slogan. Come to me to find your way. Your granddad was sitting right behind me, and my girlfriend Alma, which in those days was frowned upon. And at one point, the old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with fire and brimstone antics. And a piece of it, one of those small add-on dues for men, went flying off, and I swear Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me, because we were loonies together.
That is a lame story. Thanks for sharing, Gran.
I was hoping it was going to have something to do with how he was German. Well, you know, I was born Rebecca White, right? My daddy owned a lot of land outside town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things. It was a very good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight. That's his, like, go-to thing if he doesn't know what to say.
Feeling these days.
Fiddle's a fiddle, and don't you worry your little head about it. That's his
Just tell
go-to
me
thing.
anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten. I wonder if they say the same thing every time. I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will. All right,
That's sweet. What do you do all day? I just knit. Now shut up. Stop poking your nose.
That's pretty much what she says. She also takes long walks on the beach and likes pina coladas.
You're not old.
Don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills. All right, so that's the end of that. So the important discussion is actually about the
Knight family and Heinz Ritter.
and complimenting her. You always have
Yes.
to compliment your grandmother, folks.
Yes.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother? Let's hear about Harrison Knight first. Tell me something about Granddad. Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school. We met and married. We had your father, Philip.
And once I saw Blim.
Oh, your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit.
But I made him do it. Because I needed things.
Maybe that's why he had the worst luck with jobs. Oh, the nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another, and I would tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel. Apparently, all of the knights have been, like, I don't know, ne'er-do-well characters.
Apparently.
Can't keep a job, always hitting on the hired help.
Well, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar. It was named Desire.
Funny thing was, it was parked.
Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone. Sorry to hear that, Graham. I know y'all do. Alright, is that everything about him? He was a poet. He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting.
There was nothing but dragons.
3 of them, every time. Alright, so let's learn about Philip. He was the only child. Suffered terrible nightmares just like your granddad did. There were 2 peas in a pod. This pod has 3 peas, because we have nightmares too. When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then. and he'd looked at plenty. He was just considering their hairstyles at the time.
Apparently.
You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's. You couldn't see my facial expressions there.
That was just weird.
Let's move on from your dad, I think. It's getting a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I think she liked defying her family. Because apparently your father wasn't good enough for her.
Apparently not.
Oh, that was point music. If you're interested in history, in family history these days, you should go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit family tomb. It would be a sweet gesture.
Maybe I will.
Alright, let's find out about Hans. Hans Ritter! Oh, Gabriel, where did you hear that name?
I found a letter in Granddaddy's clock. I moved some dragons and some threes.
Oh, I promised I would never tell you or your father, but I suppose it doesn't matter now, even though you haven't figured out the secret.
Tell me, Gran.
Your granddad's name was Heinz Ritter before he came to America. He changed it to Harrison Knight legally when he arrived and claimed to be a Pennsylvanian Dutch.
And he only went with Harrison Knight because Batman was taken.
Why did Granddad change his name? I don't know. I tried to ask him about his family, his life before America, but he didn't want to talk about it. That sounds suspicious if he had come over sooner in life. He never even told me about his name change. I found out one day when I saw his passport in a drawer.
Because I was snooping.
Since he obviously found it painful, I never questioned him about it. But I'm sure it wasn't trouble with the law. Your granddad was the best man I ever knew. It never sounds good when a German comes across and changes their name. It never sounds good.
Oh.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Oh.
We'll just compliment Gran and leave. You know you get prettier every time I see you. Oh, you. All right.
Okay, I think we are done here.
Awkward family times are awkward, but we have to open the door right from here. You can walk over to the door, but then Gran, you have to walk back to her anyways. All right, dear. This is the way. You can't find the door. I pointed at it. Okay, so the other thing we learned from our phone messages was that the police station had some photos for us.
Yes.
So we'll head to the PD now. And we also learned that we don't need to talk to that guy or else he just tells us about donuts. He doesn't tell us about them. The donut guy shows up. We have to deal with it. Hopefully just questioning him right away gets rid of that. Got a second, officer? What can I do for you? Yes, we beat the donut cart.
That's always important.
Alright, so what we need to ask him about
Is Detective Mosley and the photographs.
That's right.
I'm here to see Detective Mosley.
He's out of the crime scene, sorry.
Where's the crime scene? Is it related to the voodoo murders?
Crime scene information, or CSI, is police confidential. We don't need any more looky-loos than probably already there.
Because I've told half the town where it is already.
Come on.
Oh, well, okay, you said come on.
Look, I know the paper's got everybody stirred up about these killings, but that don't make it public information. Back off! Before I back you off. Deductive reasoning. Hey, I didn't say that. You'll read all about it in tomorrow's paper. Oh, I'm sure. I wonder if we push if he actually gets mad enough to do something about it.
No, you just ask please.
Look, buddy, keep it up and there'll be a crime scene right here.
Did
They'll have to get
Pup just threaten you?
internal investigations will be up in on this.
What's the world coming to?
Alright, that's the end of that chain. About Detective Mosley.
I told you he's not here.
Oh, that's probably all he says. Yeah. So we're supposed to get our photographs here. Is that right? And who are you?
My name's Knight. Gabriel Knight. Because Batman was taken.
Yeah, I got something for you, alright. As soon as you're done talking, I'll give it to you. I hope he means photograph package and not like a fist.
Well, if it's not photographs, I hope it is a fist.
Here's that envelope for you, Gabriel Knight.
Thanks.
Nice. Okay. So, actually, what we're going to do real quick is save the game. And we can just save over our old save from the future.
Mm-hmm.
And next time, we are going to be heading to the park for some clowning around.
Wah, wah.
I'm Zerfall.
I'm Grimgore.
We'll see you then.